It's 10:30 p.m. The boarding house has finally settled. Then comes a hesitant knock on your office door. A student, visibly shaking, reports they are being targeted by someone down the hall. In that split second, your adrenaline spikes. As an educator, your natural reflex is to spring into action, to immediately investigate the claim, confront the issue, or express your outrage. But you have to suppress that instinct. Before you ask a single question, you must establish physical and psychological safety. You move the student to a private, secure space. Looking at point 1 of the Micro CPD framework, the directive is absolute. You must prioritize their sense of physical and emotional safety before gathering any information. By slowing down your initial reaction and securing the environment first, you protect the student from immediate harm and ensure the integrity of the investigation. Once the student is safe, you enter the hardest part of the immediate response: emotional regulation. It is incredibly difficult to watch a child in distress and maintain a visibly neutral, measured demeanor. If you show immediate judgment or anger against the alleged bully, you risk contaminating the student's account. This framework section details how to navigate the conversation. Offer immediate, concrete affirmation. You were right to tell me. I'm glad you did. Continuing to the red section, we see what causes harm. Never promise a specific outcome before investigating. A measured, objective physical presence, paired with structured, validating language, keeps the situation from escalating. It shields the student from further anxiety while keeping your actions procedurally compliant. With the immediate emotional crisis stabilized, your focus shifts outward. The encounter moves from a private conversation to the broader professional machinery required to manage the student's welfare long-term. This is where you apply the safeguarding lens. You have to ask a specific diagnostic question. Is what the student described a single instance of conflict, or does it represent a sustained pattern of behavior? As this diagram illustrates, true bullying is defined by a clear, measurable power imbalance. One side holds distinctly more social, physical, or emotional leverage than the other. To document this dynamic accurately, we rely on point 6 of the framework. When recording the timeline of events, you are explicitly required to separate what the student told you from what you personally observed. Creating this clear, time-stamped factual record removes emotion from the paperwork. It builds the objective foundation the wider pastoral team needs to intervene without bias. That objective record then dictates the chain of escalation. You systematically inform the house parent, the pastoral lead, the parents, and if there is any safeguarding dimension, the designated safeguarding lead. Once the stakeholders are informed, institutions often look for a quick resolution, and this is where a common, reflexive pitfall occurs: the misuse of restorative justice to quickly smooth things over. Looking at point 8 of the follow-up actions, the framework issues a stark warning. Because a distinct power imbalance exists, forcing a victim into a mandatory handshake and apology can be actively re-traumatizing. You must never impose this on a victim. The follow-up apparatus cannot exist just to make the adults feel like the conflict is resolved. It must prioritize the ongoing psychological safety of the victim over achieving a superficial peace. At this stage, paperwork is filed, the parents are called, the immediate crisis is stabilized. But focusing solely on resolving one case ignores the environmental factors that allowed it to happen. A true preventative strategy extends beyond reactive discipline or posters. It requires examining the macro environment where the behavior occurred. The expanding circle of care zooms out from the student, past staff procedures, into the house culture. Maintaining this outer ring requires auditing the unwritten rules. By mapping the hidden social architecture, we expose hierarchies that normalize targeting. The framework's final point reframes the incident as a diagnostic tool for the wider house ethos. Focusing on the staff reflection, we confront the hardest question: does our house culture unintentionally reward social dominance or create conditions where bullying thrives unchallenged? Effectively handling a disclosure is a profound dual mandate. You must tend to the trauma sitting in front of you, while aggressively interrogating the health of the community that allowed it to happen.